Which I mean, like, what are the different ways of you sending inputs to a REST API?
What are the different ways? Uh,
Mm-hmm. Like there's a REST API. Like let's say
okay.
you're designing one REST API.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Okay.
So what are the supported input formats a REST API can accept?
Yeah, so generally, in most of the client, we are basically handling how those requests and give out the response as a JSON format. But also, it can accept the XML also. There are certain format where REST API can accept, like XML, JSON are the commonly used.
So these are the data models which you are talking about. I'm not interested in knowing about the data models.
Okay.
What I'm asking is when you're calling a REST API,
Uh-huh.
okay, what are the different ways of passing the input? Different ways of passing the input to the REST API.
What are the different ways of passing this? Um,
Okay, just give me an example. Like you have to call one API. How will you call it? Let's say you have access to a postman. Okay, so
okay.
how will you call the REST API?
Uh, you have the context of it. Then you can,
End to
what?
end. Yeah.
Yeah. So whatever the HTTP verbs you wanted to use, whether it is get,
Mm-hmm.
post, or this, all those things,
Mm-hmm.
then you
Mm-hmm.
click on the send. So it and you have to define out like it will have IPs and all those things. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you are
So
using
let's assume this is a login URL.
okay,
Okay.
okay,
The endpoint is a v1/login. Okay.
okay, okay,
And it is of type post.
okay.
Okay. And you need to pass username and password to it. So how are you going to pass these to the API? What are different ways of passing username and password to a REST API?
Uh, okay. Generally, like most of the things, we define out like it should have a payload of it. So uh, for all the request of the post, all the post request must have a payload associated with it. Uh, but what are the ways through which? Okay,
So payload is one.
yeah,
What are the other ways?
what are the other ways? I don't recall exactly. Means most of the banks use those. So I
Hmm.
mean, yeah.
No, they use it. I know, like you must be using payload. Even
Mhm.
we mostly use payload, but that doesn't mean that the REST API can only accept
Correct, correct. I got your
requests
point.
through
I got
payload,
your point.
right?
Got your point.
Yeah.
So means there should be some there are also some other ways.
Because see, when we go for an interview, right,
Yeah.
it's not mostly around what we have worked.
Correct,
Okay,
correct, correct.
it's more than what we have worked. Okay, like based on our learnings around it, no? Because when we were
Yeah, yeah. Got your point.
getting,
Got your point. I should be well prepared around it. So yeah, I got your point. No issues.
yeah. Okay, now let's talk about the exception handling in REST APIs.
Okay.
So, how do you handle exceptions? Like, how do you communicate the end user, okay,
Mhm.
about any error which you are seeing? What are the most commonly used HTTP error codes in REST APIs?
Commonly, the 401 is there, 400 is there, and
Mm-hmm.
403 is there.
Mm-hmm.
204 is also there,
So
and
when you say the number, right, also tell me like what it is.
yeah, sure. So 401 is unauthorization.
Mm-hmm.
403 is forbidden request. 400 is bad request,
So
and
403 is forbidden.
sometimes.
When do you use 403?
So basically, you got the authentication, but the authorization is not available to you. So
Uh-huh.
in that case, you are getting the 403. Then you have 500, internet services and all those things like 500 series for that. Then 200 is for the successful one. uh, and mm, there are certain situation I don't recall exactly. There's is two not four is also is there status code. Um, I think these are the commonly used status code.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
Yeah. Okay. This is just fine. Then okay. So let's say so you must have written REST APIs,
yeah, in the Jersey form.
huh?
Yes, yes, I have.
Okay. 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 So basically, when you get a requirement and you have to design the REST APIs around it, so
Okay,
what are the best practices you follow?
sure. So I think uh, when it comes to the best practices, so I think the best the foremost thing is like you should have a content level agreement, like the, the whichever format the client is wanting, the server should be able to serve those services as per the request. For example, you are you are expecting XML, so the XML should be in the content delivery part. Other than that, you should also, like, if he is asking for the XML and you are providing the JSON format, so that should not be there. First thing. Second thing is like you should be more you know more aware of the post request, because if
So,
it is
Akash,
if it
Akash,
yeah, yeah,
Akash, you are coming from where you work right now,
yeah,
okay? Wherein your requirements come from the customers, okay, and then you fulfill it. Okay, it's not always that REST APIs are designed for the customers, okay, like
okay,
getting the requirements from them. So most of the times product teams develop their own REST APIs and then later expose it to the end users to consume it,
okay,
right?
yeah,
Yeah, so when you talk about designing a REST API to fulfill a requirement which your organization has or your product team has, so
mhm.
what are the best practices you follow?
So okay, so um, when it comes to the backpacks, this is I think first of all definitely the content level agreement should be there, whether the request is coming from or coming from the client or not. You should be able to uh, like initially you should be able to design a STP in such a way, like whatever the format they are requesting, you should be able to give to them. And the second part is like you should be very much prepared. There should be some more some more uh, checks around the post request, because it is a not idempotent. So every resource repeated can create a new resource, as well as uh, you should be always design the context of the REST API in such a way that it should uh, it should define out the purpose itself. So for example, if you are designing out, like, you have an employee and all those things, and you wanted to check, get me all the employees, so you should be like giving out the context in such a way, like it should not be representing a one employee or two employee. It should represent like employees. So use plurals as and when required. And also if you are working in a very tight environment, like let's say, so also authentication and authorization, these two aspect comes in very in a good shape. It should be in a good shape. And use timestamps as and when required in most of the in at least most of the post related service, post related HTTP verbs. And
I can tell you one thing.
yeah,
So you know about different verbs which we use, right? Can you tell me like when we use these verbs? What is the like each use case for each verb?
Yeah, sure. So, for example, when I'm using a GET request, so basically I'm trying to get the data for the read only access, and when I using the put request, so
Mm,
basically I'm interested in updating the resources which are already existing, and delete HTTP verbs comes in handy when you wanted to delete any particular resource, and post resource post HTTP verbs comes in handy when you wanted to create any new resource, as well as there is patch. It I don't have I have not used it, but basically it is used when it is used basically in conjunction with the put request. So in the put request you have to follow all the parameters, but in the patch request, if you wanted to update any one segment of a particular resources, then you can use the patch request on the top of it. And I think, yeah, this is it.
mm. Okay. Okay. So let's move to Java.
Yeah.
You're fine, right?
Yeah, yeah. No,
If you
actually,
need water or something, you can go and get it.
no, no issues. I'm okay.
Right?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. So you worked in Java. Let's have few questions on Java as well.
sure.
Okay. So so you know, right? This so you like everyone knows nowadays. So when you say string s is equal to double quotes hello world, so where does it get stored?
Means it actually is stored in the string pool, and
Mm-hmm.
as stored in the literals. Actually, it's a
Mm-hmm.
literal, so basically stored
So
in the
basically,
string pool.
strings are stored in string pool. You're saying, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you say string s is equal to new string hello, it goes to the string pool.
No, literal goes to the string pool,
Oh.
and when you say in new, so it goes
Hmm.
into the heap memory.
Okay, okay. So now, let's say you have a string.
Okay.
Okay, you have a string. Basically, you're handling a string which is very secure, and you don't want that to be risked getting like hackers getting access to it through the JVM memory heap or something. So how will you store that string? Like how will you handle that string, not storing? You're just reading it through in your code and doing some job from it. But after you're done reading, you don't want to risk getting that leak to uh, some attacker. So,
I so basically you are saying like you have a string literal, and
mhm,
you are storing some, for example, some password, and you are saying
mhm,
like
mhm,
this is already in a string pool, so you are saying like if somebody stole that particular password,
mhm,
right?
mhm, mhm. Correct, correct.
Okay. um, storing as in means storing
Right, and
the.
then like you're working with it. You're working with it. So when you're working with it, it goes to the memory, right?
Yeah,
Okay. There's no way without you putting that in memory that you can use it.
yeah.
Okay. So when you're using it, once you're done using it, but still that stays in the memory. So what is that you can do to avoid that?
Mm, maybe we can store uh, we can store the string in the, we can store the string into character.
Hmm.
uh,
Why? Why do you think so?
but if somebody change it, but if somebody, okay, Or either way, like before storing it into, okay, before that I cannot do anything, right? Maybe we can use one-way hashing, uh, but that does not. Okay.
So tell me, like, let's talk about ArrayList. You must have worked with ArrayList, no?
Yeah.
Why do we prefer ArrayList over LinkedList?
Uh, I think searching is better in
Uh-huh.
ArrayList,
Okay.
whereas insertion and manipulation is best in LinkedList.
Okay. So that's the reason we prefer ArrayList. Okay.
Yeah.
But what is one drawback with ArrayList? Like, what's not right with ArrayList when you're working with them?
So what's not right? So basically, like suppose if you are inserting it inside a
Mm-hmm.
particular element. So suppose you wanted to insert into fifth position, and the elements is already have 10 position. So the size is not the problem with ArrayList because it dynamically increases its size. The problem is like if you wanted to put the fifth, if you wanted to put the element in the fifth position, then you have to shift the right element by one place, and the same
Mm-hmm.
happens with the left element. So as to and this shifting is very costly.
So
So
shifting is the only problem.
uh,
So the
yes,
problem is only when you're inserting an element in mid. That's what you're saying.
no, it's in any of the position.
Any
Le-
position.
yeah,
So when you create an array list, what is the default size of it?
what is the default size of it?
Mm-hmm.
Mm, I default site is zero only. Means you have if you
Okay, what is the underlying implementation of an array list?
it's a list.
Underlying is the list.
Underlying data structure you are saying, right?
I'm saying the underlying implementation of array list.
Underlying implementation of a list. Um, it's basically a dynamic array. Mm,
Dynamic array. Okay.
but
What is dynamic array?
dynamic array basically means it does not have a particular specific size. So once the size reaches 75%, then it automatically double its size.
Uh-huh. So can you create a dynamic array?
Uh, Dynamic array, uh, like it's not a any specific implementation in Java. Means it's just a concept which ArrayList has implemented.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. So now you're saying array list is based on dynamic array. So
Yeah,
what happens is, so when you reach 75%, then
it double its size.
doubles its size.
Yeah,
Okay. And then all the elements in the previous array.
means I'm not getting a point. Means
No,
if you
no.
are
So basically, you have by default you created an array list. It by default created a array of size 10.
hmm,
Okay. Then you filled it by, so you filled like seventh or eighth element. Now you got a new array of size 20. What next?
what next as means like it internally increases its size. Not you then don't have the next array.
No, no,
Means
it is doing it internally that I know. All I'm asking is when it is doing internally, they've also implemented it, right? Right? They have implemented it so it's working for you. But I'm saying
uh,
when it reaches 80% of the size, they create a new array of double the size.
yeah.
Then what? Then what? What do they do next?
What do they remains there once suppose if the size is reaches 16 or something like that, then it again doubles the size. Means you have to reach out to that particular uh,
No,
percentage.
first of all, Anand, Akash, sorry. First of all, Akash, the array cannot increase its size, right? Right?
Array
Array can
cannot.
Yeah, array cannot. So what they're doing is they're creating a new array of double the size. Then they're copying all the elements from the first array to the second array. Yes.
Yes.
So there's something which I was asking you. What's the next thing they do? They create a new array, then they
Yeah.
copy all the elements from the first array to the
Yeah.
second array.
Yeah.
True?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is also an overhead with ArrayList, no?
Uh, that okay. Okay.
So you are seeing like when you are inserting in mid, okay,
Uh-huh.
there was an issue with the shifts, which makes sense. But also when you grow, when it grows in size, every time you grow in size, you have to copy all the elements from the previous array to the new array. So that is
Yeah.
also an issue.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Got it.
Okay. So do you know the underlying implementation of HashMap?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
Please go ahead.
yeah. Were you saying something?
No?
Yeah. Okay. So, uh, yeah. So when we are when we are defining a hash map, so it internally have a is by default having a size of 16 segments, so 0 to 15. Now it has two important methods, which is put and get. So let's talk about the first method. It is put. It works on the key value pair implemented. The map interface comes under collection. Not basically comes under collections, but we consider it as command comes under collection. So when we say put any of the elements, so it works on a key and value pair. Suppose the key is, let's say I'm putting in the hash map string and integer. So it has, let's say, a and 1. So it internally uses the hash function. Now it's up to you to define out, you can override the hash code function, and or either way you can use the by default method of the object class. So it takes out uh, the value and try to find out, what is the hash code of it. Once it figures out the hash code, then what it does is like it it takes out the value and the hash code and convert it into the uh, binary format, the value that uh, the digital value into the binary format. Then it uses the AND operation on the top of it. So after the calculation, whatever the value it comes, so it creates uh, it creates a it gives you the particular segment value where you can put out the element to it. Now in Java 7, all those in the put element, uh, whatever the key and value is there, by the value which you got by the value which you got for the segment, all the values will be put it accordingly in the segment of by default of 16 size. Suppose if there's a collision between them, suppose we have a1 and b2. Now there's a collision, so internally in Java 7 it uses linked list. So it store the value something like that. You have a weak key, you have a value, then you have a pointer pointing uh, to the next uh, to the next element. So it internally uses the linked list. But in Java 8, now they, instead of the when there's a collision, so instead of a linked list, they are using a tree structure. Now the same goes with the get method. Now in the get method, you wanted to figure
Okay,
out
what should you do
yeah,
to avoid hash collision? Hash collision. What should you do? Like as a developer, you are
uh-huh,
working with the hash map.
yeah.
So what are the steps you will take so as to avoid hash collision?
I think by using the better hash code method,
Mm-hmm.
and also I think by using the better hash code method so as to uh, avoid out internally, like like you should have a better understanding of how many elements should needs to be inserted out. Then accordingly you can define out the parameters. For example, let's say a simple example of, if we say mod of 10, then and we are very much confident about the value of it. So ideally the value comes out from the hash code uh, will be different for each of the characters, and then the
So
same
you're
can.
saying HashMap does not use the equals method?
Sorry.
HashMap does not use the equals method?
It uses suppose there are always a contact between the hash code and the equals method. So
Okay.
suppose if it means it first check the hash code, then it looks out if the hash code is similar, then it looks out for the equals method, and then it's up to you to define out how you're going to define out your equals method. uh,
Hmm.
if you wanted to use any of the one dimension, you can use the other two dimension as well, other
Hmm.
more dimension as well. Sorry.
Okay.
So
Uh,
yeah,
just a minute, Akash. Just a minute. I'll be back.
sure.
Yes, Akash.
Yeah,
Okay, Akash. So you have your Eclipse open, right?
I have
Can
my
you?
notepad open.
You have your notepad, is it? Okay. So yeah, fine. So can you write some code? I
Sure,
want
sure.
you to be.
Just
Okay,
give me
first
a
tell me
moment.
how many. First tell me how many design patterns have you used?
uh,
How many design patterns you are aware of?
Currently we have means I have used like in the Spring Boot we have used a singleton,
Mhm.
and a prototype we have used, and apart from the Spring Boot we have used the factory design pattern.
Factory design. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So can you just write? Uh, okay. So you'll write on your notepad, is it?
Mhm.
Notepad, you mean like in system itself, no?
Yeah, I'm sharing the screen. Just give me a moment.
Okay. Okay. Fine. So yeah, just write a snippet on thread save singleton class.
Okay. Able to see my screen?
No.
Able to see, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
You can start.
Singleton class, right?
Mm-hmm. Let me know Akash once done.
Yeah,
Done is it?
yeah.
Is it is it written in Java or what language have you used? What is the syntax?
Java only.
Java only, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Then yeah. Can you fix this? The main method as well. Do you have Eclipse now?
Clips. I
Or
don't
any
know.
IDE you have? Any IDE where you can write Java code?
You can use the online ID if you want.
Online IDE? Okay, fine.
Okay, let
Open
it.
some online IDE.
Okay.
Okay, have you not share your screen and have you shared just a notepad with me?
Yeah, yeah. Just give me a moment.
Just share your desktop.
Yeah, yeah. Able to see? No?
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Copy your thing. Put it here.
Yeah.
Compile it.
Yeah.
You understand what's wrong here?
Legal start of the expression. It's not work.
Let's not waste time here.
Yeah.
Just do a singleton get example dot get instance.
Sorry?
It's a static method. Get instance is a static method. You should reference it directly using the class variable. You don't need a s there. Yeah. Get rid of the first line. This is singleton, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I asked you to make a thread safe singleton.
That's a singleton. Okay. We can use the synchronized. Okay.
Hmm. Yeah, you can.
Yeah. So you are checking out for the other ways, right?
No, see, this is a way of creating a singleton class, but this is not thread safe.
Yeah. So either we can use the synchronized block or what we can do.
No, you have your ID in front, right? Start writing how you can do it.
the spelling.
Akash, the S has to be small.
No, actually, I put the S initially. Okay.
No, no. Last time you made a typo.
Okay.
Last time you said SNYC, so that's why it's not working for you. Now, now the synchronized block doesn't work this way. You tell him on what you are taking. You want to take a lock, to get a lock on something, right? That you need to pass to a synchronized block. Okay, anyway, leave it.
Okay.
Okay, I think I'm done with the things. Is there anything you want to know?
Uh, can you explain a bit of like what exactly you are doing? Means what is the current project like the hiring is for?
Mm-hmm. No, you are being hired for a team which I don't belong to.
Okay.
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 So basically, tech stack for which you are being hired is a Java and REST APIs,
Okay.
okay, which will be the uh, which will have your major contributions, and then there'll be other stuff as well. But majorly, you'll be working with Java and REST APIs.
Okay. Got it.
So that's all. Anything else you would want to know?
No, no, that's all I said.
Okay. Thank you, Akash.
Thank you.
Nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you. Have
Yeah.
a nice day.
Bye bye.